Hello, everyone, and welcome to our 101 for today. Today, we're going to be working in First Draft and Brainstorm. We're going to work on a LitRPG story mainly, but I am going to cover some nonfiction stuff too before we get started. So, I know we do have some writers that want to delve into that. So, I was probably spend about 5-10 minutes on nonfiction. Here is a link to this document. So, if y'all want to play with anything that I have here, I know we have some newbies. So, I'm going to briefly go over a few things with y'all. First of all, in that document, there is my YouTube channel link. So you can watch videos there. I do a lot of Sudowrite and occasionally ChatGPT stuff, but those are my two main focuses on my channel. I also have a YouTube playlist of beginner videos. If you're new and this one-on-one class was just too much information, you need things broken down more, that beginner playlist is for you. It's short videos going over one feature at a time. All right, some quick things. The gear icons, where's all your account information stuff at. Some settings here you can control if you need to buy more credits. You have that link right there. And then, of course, the manage membership and billing. As you're working inside Sudowrite, there's this recent activity. If you click it, it'll tell you what you've done recently and used your credits on. I'm going to hide that. And then if you see, I have my credits up here, but if I hover, it lets me know when they expire or roll over. I'm on the rollover plan, so I know mine's going to roll over. And it tells me when it happens. March 13th, 8:35 Central. I guess CDT is Central.
There is currently a bug with that pop-up. So if you can't see that time with the date and rollover, if you click on under the pop-up at the moment, Nicole, can you move your mouse? Click on Manage Membership. It will take you to another page which will have that time and date on.
Awesome. Thank you. Yep. Another major thing, if you are not in our Discord channel, click this question mark right here at the top right, and you're going to see a join our Discord. And in our Discord is the course videos channel. So very important if you want to catch some recorded classes, go through that, an extensive list right there. And then we have some of our main channels. Now they're starting to get a little hectic. Hopefully we can get them cleaned up. But if you're looking for tips and tricks, the tips and tricks channel is supposed to be for that. Normally, as soon as we discover something neat that we've done inside Sudowrite that we think will help people, we'll post it here. Of course, we have help if you need something, any questions, ask here. You'll see a lot of us chiming in. And then there's the general channel if you just want to talk about anything Sudowrite related. If it is not Sudowrite related, please keep it to off-topic channel. We also have some genre-specific channels. They're a little bit more lenient. But those are the main channels. Course videos, tips and tricks. Go there as soon as we get our tips back up. Help and general. You'll find so many people chiming in to help answer your questions. I assure you, no one is a robot. Please do not grill people and ask them if they are a robot when they're trying to help you. The only
Well, we all
robot
know you're a robot.
The only robot in Sudowrite Discord is something you will see called Pseudobot, and that does some automatic post. Okay. I just want to make that clear. Also, keep in mind those people in purple that you see on the right, those are, just like you see, staff. Anybody with blue is an ambassador. We are not paid to monitor the Discord. We do this because we want to help y'all. So please keep that in mind when you're working with us or if we're asking you questions. Don't get frustrated with us or anything. We're just trying to see where you're at, see what issue you're having so we can help you better. We'll tell you, the people that are ambassadors are generally very experienced users. And we do things different ways. So you might ask a question. I'll tell you, hey, this is how I do it. John will pop on. This is how I do it. Tomas will pop on. I combine the two or coming up with a third method. Don't get overwhelmed with people telling you different ways of doing things. We're not saying the other person is wrong. We're saying we found a method that works for us and we're sharing it with you. And we cannot stress enough, if this is your first month of Sudowrite, that first month is generally spent learning. Please do not go into this with the mindset of, okay, I'm going to see if I can get my book finished as soon as I learn it this week. Expect that first month to not have a novel resulted from it. It'll save you some frustration. And we always recommend starting with a story from scratch. I know many people want to bring in their works in progress. We've all done it. When we say, "Hey, don't do that," we're not just telling you for the fun of it, we're telling you from experience. Trying to shove a work in progress into Sudowrite when you're still learning the program just causes you a lot of unnecessary frustration, because on top of trying to learn the program, you're now trying to get it to do something very specific that you want to happen with your story, but you haven't learned how to use the program yet to actually get it to do that. So you essentially go around in circles. Keep those things in mind. Again, gear icon, going over all your account settings and stuff. Join the Discord. Cannot stress that enough. Be polite to people. And then start a story from scratch. Those are the main things. And lovely co host, if you have any essential tips you would like brand new people to know, please say them. These are what we call project cards, or you may just hear us call them cards. I can click into them and go in as I work. You'll see this one is where we can register for classes just like this. It'll take you to our Luma page and it lets you know or let you register for the different classes. We're in the 101. Tomorrow's the 201 where we will be taking this lit RPG story we are starting and we'll be working with it inside Story Bible. I'm not sure if it'll be the 201 or 301, but I know asking for screenplays and script formats, that's been coming up a lot in the Discord. But in one of these, I will actually play around with that so we can experiment, see what gets the best results. That way, we're using my credits instead of yours. Our classes are very helpful. They're always free, and you can take them as many times as you want. We have many people that are always showing up to these classes. And just scroll down here, a new series, and then, of course, hot, spicy, and plug-in schools, different things like that. Check them out. Honestly, between the YouTube channels, the course videos channel, and Discord, all of the classes, there's so much at your disposal to learn this. But please take the time to watch the classes if you can't attend them live and ask those questions in Discord. I am going to click New right here. And today, like I said, we're going to work in nonfiction and LitRPG. So I will go through this in order and then you can play around or steal any prompts that you did. So right now we're going to go into Brainstorm. And I actually want to compare Brainstorm and First Draft on this. So I'm going to ask it, I don't know what kind of nonfiction book I want to do today. I'm going to ask both of those, for idea topics. To get to First Draft, you need a blank document. If you have stuff written here, I want to show you this. This is our plugins list. If you create or add plugins, you can see how extensive this list gets. And then starting at First Draft right here, these are not plugins. They are features of Sudowrite. We've asked them to maybe move it to the Brainstorm tab or somewhere else so we don't have to scroll all the way down to get to these. But you'll see First Draft is in my list. Now, if I just type in there, and now I scroll down, there is no First Draft. You need a blank document, nothing written in there. I'm scrolling down to First Draft again, and I'm going to give it that prompt that's at the top of that page. So I'm just asking it, what is the 5 ideas for a nonfiction book topic? Oh, but lengthy. I like that. Now, main differences between Brainstorm, which we're going to use next, and First Draft, which this is right here, is as you can see, First Draft's output is can get very lengthy. Brainstorm is going to give a smaller list of things. So if you're wanting something detailed, First Draft is getting us now. Brainstorm is not the one you're going to want to use. But you could also get started with something in Brainstorm and then come here to First Draft and expand on things. This is what it gave us. Science of habits, future of work. Don't want to talk about work. Making of a modern epidemic. I'll leave that to the experts. Power of mindfulness. Not liking any of these. I'm going to create a new document. And I'm going to be more specific. Give me a list of 5 ideas for a nonfiction book. Let's do personal development. I love personal development. So give me a list of 5 ideas for a personal development book. Oh, that reminds me, Claire, don't let me forget in Dark and Taboo. We can do this on a different topic.
Okie doke. I'm
Dark and
intrigued.
I'll forget by then. I
I
remember.
mean, so will I. Come on. Between us, we might remember. Between us, we'll be better at
Gianna, we're
forgetting.
counting on you. Dark and Taboo, y'all. So that's the one I host every other Sunday morning. It is god awful early at 8:30 Central. But we alternate between hot and spicy. So it's just regular spice and then dark and taboo, where we don't care what we write about and we throw everything at the AI. So y'all feel free to attend those. And then Sudowrite After Dark is a new session we started on Saturday evening. So if you can't make those Sunday mornings, attend Sudowrite After Dark. Neither of those are recorded. Please do not go to the course videos channel trying to find them. Sorry, we want people to be relaxed, so we don't record those. All right, power of mindset. I like that. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, these suck. I could do this one. I could work with that one. All right, let's see what Brainstorm will give us. So you see all of these boxes in Brainstorm. I'm going to click, and I just want you to recognize the format in each one. You see, give a list, context, examples. Click in the objects one, list, context, examples. All of these boxes, it doesn't matter which one you go into. They can all do the same thing. I can go into this character box, ask for objects or places, names, anything I want. I can go into the dialogue box and ask for armor or whatever I want. It does not matter which box you go into. The reason for the different boxes is because they auto-populate with that topic to give you ideas of what you can put in here. Keep that in mind. Normally, I just go into one, erase, or you can go into something else and it's not pre-populated. We'll do both since I did both in First Draft. Any questions so far on First Draft, Brainstorm? We just got into Brainstorm. I guess you don't have any questions yet. Okay. Deep exploration. Oh, I like that one though. Okay, so I like these. Competitive eating? I never would have thought about that. Ooh. As you see, I'm clicking some to save. It's keeping them over here and it's repopulating with a new card. Keep in mind, every time I hit this thumbs down or thumbs up, it's going to replace the card and that is going to cost me credits. So let's go look at our recent activity. Oh, I can't scroll down. That's annoying. Okay. We see first draft. This is what those 2 runs of first draft cost me. Not bad. And this is what each brainstorm is doing. Each time I'm clicking that, let's see, 165 was our last one. Thumbs down that. It repopulated. Let's see. Okay. Okay. So keep that in mind. Don't just sit here, start clicking thumbs, and then next thing you know, you spent like 1,000 credits or something. But it'll save them right here. I think I like what Brainstorm came up with better. Now let's adjust this. So I can click that pencil and edit. We'll do 5 ideas for I didn't click refresh, sorry. All right, so same, the second prompt that we used in first draft, guide to decluttering, like that. Then I think Brainstorm's ideas were a little bit better. What do y'all think? Now I'm just
Which
gonna,
model does Brainstorm use? Do you know?
that is a good
Is it
question.
3.5? It's probably 3.5.
Read the
And I'm
guide.
sorry, I think I spoke over someone just there.
Let's see if it's in here real quick. Brainstorm. Oh, won't have the model in here. Yeah, I'm not really sure, but as cheap as it was, it's a good question. We'll find that out.
I reckon it's 3.5. It sounds like 3.5.
All of those ideas that we've done so far, if I go back to our original document, that first draft is here. It is not in this next document. It doesn't save them all at once in one place. It connects to that document. And then this next document, we have that first draft prompt, the results, and then our brainstorm ideas right here. These are also what we call cards, and we'll get into this more when we're playing with the laser tools up here. So when we say laser tools, we mean the rewrite, describe, brainstorm, and there's going to be expand option, things like this. This is what we mean when we say laser tools. We'll get into those, and they also populate in the cards over here. So this will fill up. Go ahead. Sorry.
So are you gonna try one of those brainstorm ideas out over there in, First Draft?
I think so. Or unless you have a better idea.
No, somebody was asking for conspiracy theories. Is that what you're looking for, Amy?
Oh, did I say
Yes,
it?
I thought that would be fun, or at least I would see the output.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, we'll copy that one then. And I will go to add new.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes, ma'am.
When you're generating these things, and I noticed it's giving you kind of sample titles and everything, are you okay to use that exact title, or is this something that might be generated for somebody else? Do you recommend that we change those things?
If you like it, you could keep it. This was just some prompting that Jenny, one of our staff members, did before it would just say untitled, or you'd have to change it from the chapters with Story Bible. So now it just auto titles with the context of the document. Yeah, you can use those. If you want to change them up, definitely change them up. But you don't have to worry about, everybody getting that same exact title, because the AI, even if y'all put those prompts in that I just put, y'all aren't going to get that same output. I think you don't have to worry about that. Worry about somebody getting that same exact title.
Thank you.
Just be aware that the different AIs have different favorites. There are certain names and words and concepts and phrases that you will see again and again. And I've seen a lot of them popping up in titles. So just be careful that you don't end up something ridiculously cliche and overused.
So I copied our output from Brainstorm right here, and I'm going to copy that prompt from the document y'all have. So I'm telling it, write an outline for a nonfiction book about. There we go. Asking for the outline now for exploration into the history and origins of popular conspiracy theories. And let's go for it. And first draft is very relaxed. I know in class, I think last week's class, we did the murder manifesto, people called it. We asked it how to get away with murder, and it gave some deep stuff. We asked it how to dispose of a body. So you're not going to get as many triggers here inside Sudowrite like you would get if you were using something like ChatGPT. And I will say first draft, because I used that in first draft and it gave us that output, and it dove wholeheartedly into that. It gave us like 43 ways to dispose of the dead body versus when I asked in ChatGPT before, I think of that 10. First draft is all for getting away with murder. Right, so this is the outline that it gave us. Of course, always edit to your liking, to your needs, make everything go to your voice. You can edit right here. And then because we're coming up on the half-hour mark, I want to get into LitRPG. We're not going to do much else, but oh, this is quite an extensive. I like this one. Impact of social media platforms. I think that'd be good. My next step when I'm doing nonfiction would be to give it this prompt. Write chapter number for a nonfiction book. I would decide which one I want to work on here, whether it's in order or not. I can say, let me copy that prompt so we can look at it on top of that document. Here's the prompt, and again, y'all have access to this. I would say write chapter number 2 for a nonfiction book about the evolution of conspiracy theories, focusing on the sub thing. Right here where it says the title, that's going to be your main thing. Or you could change this prompt up to work for you whichever way. And then I typically put whatever I'm focusing on. I did learn recently, I was in the habit of constantly putting the whole focus of the book. So I would say write chapter 3 for a nonfiction book about working with AI, and this chapter focuses on something. I found out when I kept telling it what the main topic of the book was about. So if I kept saying this is a nonfiction book about conspiracy theories, it is always going to start that introduction about talking again about conspiracy theories, the history of them, or whatever. Leave out the main topic of your book whenever you get to this prompt. Just focus on that chapter right there. I can tell it. Let's see. And you don't have to divide it into 2, like I said. So I can just say, write chapter 2 for a nonfiction book, chapter titled that focuses on. Actually, I would like to do it this way. But again, work with that prompt and create it however you want. It focuses on. That would be the prompt I would now take into First Draft, and I would repeat this process for all of the chapters that I wanted to work with. Y'all let me know. Reach out to me in Discord. I'm under the same name, Nicole Broussard in Discord. So if y'all have questions on working with nonfiction here, feel free to ask. You can direct message me if you don't want to post in the channels. I know Manal, she's not here today, but she also does nonfiction. Yes, always check the facts, please. When I'm working in nonfiction, I like to get everything started here. Once I have my chapters done and expanded all, then I'm done pretty much with AI, and then I work on it by myself. So that's a good workflow. All right, so now let's get into our LitRPG stuff. First of all, any questions on nonfiction? All righty. So now I want to do our ideas.
Can I just butt in for 1 second, Nicole, just because of something a couple of people were saying and referring to the AI and saying, does Sudowrite know? Sudowrite itself doesn't know anything. It's not an AI. Sudowrite have not developed an AI, although I think they've been wanting to at some point. Sudowrite's a tool for talking to AIs in a really structured way. And through it, you've got access to a whole bunch of different ones. You've got access to most, if not all, of the OpenAI models. Gemini, I'm not sure advanced. Mixtral, Claude 2 and 2.0, and a whole bunch of others. Just be aware that there isn't one within Sudowrite itself.
Yes, y'all, Sudowrite does not train on anything. I've seen that question come up more and more. Whenever we put stuff in here, that doesn't mean they're training on it and somebody else might get it. It doesn't happen that way. All of Sudowrite stuff, just like Claire said, it's using the majority of OpenAI. The majority of Sudowrite uses OpenAI, except when you're generating prose and using some like best prose and stuff she mentioned. So Sudowrite itself does not train on anything. Even the Match My Style, it's not training on your stuff. It's just analyzing it and breaking it down. So all of your stuff is safe here. On a slightly different topic of that, always back up your work. It's not safe like it's online. Things could happen. They're great about recovering stuff, but don't take that chance. Always back up your work. But yeah, don't worry about it training on anything. So I'm telling it, give me a list of 12 story premise ideas for a lit RPG novel. I want to tell it to make sure, because I like MMOs. Trying to get a little bit more specific so it's not portal fantasy and things like that. We have the last avatar. Asked for 12, so it's going to generate 12. Any questions on First Draft? Y'all see me doing certain things here? This list that I gave y'all in this document, this is nowhere near all the things you can ask First Draft for. It can do so much, and it can literally do that first draft of something. I don't think I've seen it go over 3,000 words for output, but it has done a lot around 2,500. I can just put in First Draft, write me an alien erotica sci-fi short story, something like that. It's going to be super short, but it does give you exactly what its name says, that first draft, and then that's something you can work with on expanding it or turning around, making it yours. So much you can do here. Next, ask First Draft how we can get rid of Horde.
Does First Draft
lot of
only
stuff.
take into... Oh, sorry.
I'm just giggling at the title of the first one.
Does First Draft only take into account what you put into First Draft, or does it also
Yes.
take into account the story Bible?
No, ma'am. It's just looking at what you give
Okay.
it. And it used to be almost, I don't want to say unlimited, but it used to be a very high number of words that you can put inside First Draft. In a class the other day, we did discover that there now seems to be a pretty short limit. It's probably around 650 words. Keep that in mind now.
Okay.
We got the last avatar, last remaining player. It wouldn't really be an MMO if he's the last remaining player, right?
But it means all of his buddies have died and he's on his own against stuff that's tuned for, I don't know, a guild of 64 or whatever. That could be fun.
Oh, wait, okay, wait. Okay, I'm confused. The last remaining player in the game
Have to
must
team
team
up
up
with
with
other
other
players.
players.
Fail.
To unlock the game's final. I do like that concept, though, on focusing on the final level, though. I like that a lot.
A lot of these are very Sword Art Online, if you've ever seen that series.
Okay, a young player with exceptional gaming abilities, recruited by a top guild. Players can become gods by completing a series of challenges. I like this one. Okay. New virtual reality is released. It's the same as before. Group of players stumble on a secret forbidden zone.
Oh, I like number 7.
Always reading ahead.
I'm sorry.
I used to think I read fast, but no. Y'all make me feel so slow. Okay, don't like that. Number 7, let's see. Dystopian
That's
future.
really speaking to current day worries, isn't it?
Society has become completely virtual. Okay. Players can transform into dragons. I would like to make this one like, okay, make for sure that it's life or death. If they die in the game, they die in real life. That's where I would go with that one. A lot of them are focusing on actions in that world affecting the real world. I like this Rise of a New God. So I'm going to copy this. Claire, if you want that other one, let me know and I can send it to you.
Stop tempting me. I have many projects.
You don't have anything to do. Right. So I am going to copy that, and I'm also going to copy this stuff into First Draft. So I'm going to give it my story premise, and then I'm also going to give it this information to tell it what I want it to do with that story premise. Let me just get a new document here. I can copy everything together. It's easier to do all of this in another document because First Draft, once you're in that box, you cannot press enter. You can't press shift enter. You can't do any of that. As soon as you hit that enter key, it's going to go. So I recommend making sure your prompt and everything is good in another document. I'm just going to go ahead and put that my instructions. And I'm going to remind it is a LitRPG novel. I'm going to copy all of this. Always that new blank document for First Draft. And there you go. A world where Horde hunts Alliance.
You missed the vital over the edge of the cliff part of that sentence.
Let me go back while that's generating. So I asked it for a detailed character sheet. This actually repeats a lot, but I just want to make sure it covers some things. I'm asking for a detailed character sheet for the protagonist, including real life persona and in game, how they enter the world, list some gaming elements, mode of transportation and communication, some different things right here. Let's see. And it's going to keep scrolling. I can't scroll up for us to start reading how it's doing. Any questions while we're waiting on this? Please speak up. We are here to help y'all. I'm just going to watch my sparkles go. Wait, where's my sparkles? I have sparkles.
I've been watching and they've been running out right around the 450 word mark.
I love the sparkles in First Draft. All right, let's see. Okay, so we have our Marcus Key. He's our protagonist, real life persona right here. Software engineer, looks, personality, and his in-game persona. So he's a human mage, piercing blue eye. Wait, she? Okay. So I guess he switched. Guys do like to do that. They always like to be the females in game. Solstice is confident, powerful. And here's our game world information. So Elysium, it loves this name for lit RPG stuff. And fantasy worlds or like cities, capitals especially. And that's what Claire was referring to, like it tends to lean towards names and repeating those. We've noticed that seems to be At least I think it's more closely related to genre than anything. If you're working on sci-fi, you're going to get certain names for your planets and your people and your spaceships. If you're working on fantasy, you're going to get certain names for the world and for the characters. If you're working on thriller, certain names for those characters. Right, so vast open world, diverse
We
landscape.
do have a list.
Players enter the game by logging into a virtual reality headset. I don't, I'm bored with this. I don't think I want that. So that's one thing I would probably change up. Once inside, let's see, leveling up, they gain experience points by completing quests and defeating enemies. So as they level up, your little talent tree here. Skills learned by completing specific quests or special items. Right. And then I asked for a list of quests. So here it goes. All right. So we have some decent stuff here, right? And Gianna said, not just with nonfiction, but go through here, start changing things up. You're not verifying facts here because it's fiction, but make sure you like everything. You're happy with it. See, this is the thing where I asked for quest twice. Hunt for rare beasts. I like that. Okay. And we have some in-game items here. All right. So I like this. I'm going to copy it all. And we're going to work in Story Bible tomorrow, but I'm just going to go ahead and put this in my brain up so I can see how much room I have. Just a little over 1,000 words. So I still have room in here for more. I saw a question. Okay. Can you use First Draft to fill the beat holes and gaps? I would do a plugin personally to do it. Let's see what First Draft cost us for that. It only cost us $8.98 for that output, and that was how many words? 1,000. So that's not bad. But I would personally use a plugin. But I can also show you some wording tomorrow too. Whenever we
A quick edit would do a nice job of it now that we've got quick edit as well.
Yeah, remind me of that tomorrow, Adelina, because I have a prompt. I would need to track it down again to copy it correctly, but it's a prompt I've been using in Rewrite Customize for my beats. And you could probably copy your beats into First Draft and use that prompt there and have it rewrite. That's something we can mess around with. But I don't have that document pulled up. I'd have to track it down which one it was in. All right, so
Nicole, did you mean you'd use an existing plugin or that you'd write one for the case use?
Oh, I would use one. There's so many out there right now. I have the Just Beat It's plugin. That's mine. And there's another version.
Adeline was asking which one you'd suggest.
Yeah. Play around with them and see which ones you like.
Just be aware that the sticker price can be, or the sticker shock rather, can be real with plugins.
I think
They depends how much they're going to read, because you're always going to get charged by words in as well as words out.
Yeah, I don't remember. I know I have the Mixtral one and that's super cheap, but it also can't get lengthy outputs because it'll start going crazy there. And that's also
in your experience, how many, so I bought the package for the 2 million words per month, I think it was, or 2 million credits per month. Is that sufficient when you're working on a novel in your experience, or how much does this actually take overall?
I think it will be good, but likely not your first month. That first month, just expect to burn through all of your credits learning. Again, not going into there, oh, I should have a novel. Burn through those credits that first month, likely maybe the second month too. But then once you get the hang of it and you're learning the program, you're not wasting those credits trying to figure things out and experimenting and seeing what works and what doesn't. That's another reason we like to do these classes, so we can do the experimenting for y'all and you'll have a better idea of what works. But 2 million, I think, is sufficient for a book once you get the hang of things.
It also depends massively on which models are your favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Some are hugely more expensive than others simply because the AI is more expensive.
And we'll talk about models tomorrow in the 201. So that'll go specifically into Story Bible. We'll talk about the expensive models, the cheap models, and what they're good at, what they suck at, things like that. But I do think you'll be okay with the 2 million. I think that's the popular one. At this point, I'm not even gonna lie. Is that the middle? Yeah, that's the middle. Or is that the new
The $29 one, isn't it?
Is it the new max plan? That's the 2 million?
I think the 2 million are the max plan, yeah. And the 1 million are the middle.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Okay, thank you.
I'm on the 1 million and I struggle to use them all every month.
I'm grandfathered in, so I'm on the 5 million. Just want to say.
Yeah, I'm on 1100 million if you really want to know, Nicole. Grandfather yourself. I'm like a week older than you, I think.
All right, so I'm going to ask it, and this is I'm just want to show y'all some things you can do to refine your story character. So go into your story as you're working through. If you need some armor, potions, things like that, again, I have various things right here you can play around with, things that I would actually ask it, whether it's in First Draft, Brainstorm. I just gave y'all some things that y'all can ask to get more specific. But if you need character names, of course, ask that. Need moves, spells and moves. We can ask all that too. So I'm asking Brainstorm a list of magical items for a LitRPG character, including stats. Let's say for the item. And we can be really super specific. But just keep in mind that little card output isn't going to be very long. So that's good. So I'm going to start this. And then as you'll see in this, you don't have to just say magical items. I can get specific. I can say I want a list of weapons, the armor, potions, all of that. I want food recipes that the players use or how they create ideas for how they create armor in the game. The ideas are really endless. So we got dragon scale armor. Okay. He was a mage, right? Yeah. He needs some. Hey, wish I had some of these in World of Warcraft. Let's see. Cloak of Invisibility. Why not? Go through Ring of Invisibility. Oh, so this is an example of different outputs. So I like how this output is. Allows the user to turn invisible, 24-hour cooldown. So you'll get the idea. So now I could I'm just looking at what my character would need so I can copy this into BrainDump. Let's say that. And then my list is right here. So I'm just going to copy this and plop it into BrainDump for now. Now these item type things like this, for these little ones, I wouldn't do this, but an option for things like that is to put them also in the character box. And right now our character box is limited. We'll go into that more in the 201 tomorrow, but it can hold objects and settings and things like that. Let's see what else. I want to ask for a list of spells and moves. Control C. So we're just building up our story Bible. So whenever the 201 starts tomorrow, the brain dump is essentially going to be done and we just dive into the other aspects. That's why I'm spending so much time in First Draft and Brainstorm. If there's something y'all want me to try, let me know. I want to have a rogue. I'm going to do it 2 different ways. If I could tell it, like maybe I want this person to be an in-game character that kills the mage or, they're doing the PvP and they cannot beat that rogue. Maybe I want to get that specific to let it know, hey, what are these spells or moves the rogue is doing to kill that mage? Things like that. Thank you, Tomas. For what it's worth, I hate rogues. God, I hate rogues. I can never, ever survive a rogue in Warcraft. Shadow Step, and they do have that too. What a surprise. Was an all Shadow Step? Well, that sucks. Try this again. And why are they all... I'm like crazy about how much it's repeating right here. There we go. That's better. I like that. Okay, that's good enough to know I have those ideas. So if I want, I could now copy this. And tell it, I don't know if this is in line with everything, but I'm just going to show you what I can do with this information. So I can tell it Marcus faces and things like that. See how much more we should have a good amount of. Yeah, we still got a lot of words we could use. So I could fill this up with more details. I could start fleshing out the setting, some more in-game mechanics, things like that. But this is actually a pretty good start for just using Brainstorm and First Draft. No real ideas for how the story was going to go or start. Oh, I wanted to compare these. All right, so this will be the last one. I'm going to compare Brainstorm and First Draft with the same things. And you can see, of course, I wonder if I could fit. You can see my First Draft prompt is a little bit longer because, again, it'll give me more output. But inside Brainstorm, I probably will need to break it up. Let's see how much it's going to be able to hold. I forgot the word. Oh, it does hold it all. Okay. Well, if it'll hold that. Sorry, y'all. Now I'm experimenting now. So speak up if y'all have something. I'm surprised it holds that much. I don't remember what the limit is. I do have that written somewhere, but okay. I'm going to tell it LitRPG. Samantha, perfectly
Yeah.
understandable. We do have some recorded classes. The last session I did is not up in the course videos channel yet, but I did use Brainstorm and First Draft in a similar way for, I think we did our thriller. Was that our thriller, Claire and Tomas? But we did flesh some things out that way, just to give you an idea of something you can look for to see it using it a different way. I just change up the prompting and everything. If I were wanting, maybe you're doing a fantasy novel, so this one is still good, and you can just let it know it's for a fantasy. That's what kind of spells your character will have. And if you're doing more of a regular romance or actual real life people type thing, just change these up to ask for different stuff. Use this as like your base. Change up for what you think you would need. Okay, so create a key detailed character sheet for your protagonist. Now, what do you want to receive from the AI in that character sheet? Give it those kind of details. Play around with that. Feel free to modify it. Next, we have our human warrior, knight. Always got to have our dwarf. Elves as druids. Okay, why not? There we go. And I'm just going to copy this in the brain up too to give ourselves some more in-game characters. I want to look at what the output real quick. Spells and moves include shaping and controlling natural elements, healing and protection spells, skilled in close combat. So I like that. And then our first draft should give us the same thing, except it's going to be heftier. Every once in a while, it likes to make me a liar, so let's see how it actually does. I like to put my instructions in First Draft in square brackets, and that just separates it. So if I'm putting a story premise here as well, it knows this is the instructions of what I want it to do, and the remainder is the story premise. I'm giving it the same thing I gave to Brainstorm. So you see a little bit more detail right here. I like this a lot. I love to play with First Draft. There's just so much you can do. First Draft uses GPT-4. If you can do it in ChatGPT, you can pretty much do it here as well, except a little bit freer because, again, it won't have that restriction of, no, I can't do that content or something along those lines. Centaur Druid. I like that. All right, so that is wrapping up at the top of the hour. I'm going to let this finish. Lizard Man Shaman. I'm going to name it Tomas. Any questions on this, y'all? Was this helpful? Or was it too niche focused and you don't know how to use it for your genre?
It was super helpful. And yeah, even though I don't understand, I get the acronyms for Lit RPG and MMO, whatever. I understand what that means. But no, it was super helpful. And I had no idea. I've been playing around with the story Bible and everything on my fiction book. I did put a book in that I'm in progress on, and I haven't had any difficulty with that yet. But I see what you guys are saying. And so I've also started one from scratch just to see what it could do. But thank you. This has been awesome. I had no idea that it had all these capabilities, and I'll definitely look up the thriller one that you did too, because that's more my style.
Okay. It's not posted in that Discord course videos channel yet, but it's likely to be up any day now.
Great.
So, and two, when we tell y'all start a story from scratch, y'all, I don't mean you have to fully flesh out a novel and plan all of these details. Do something simple. I love fairy tale retellings for learning or experimenting. So I've done this before, write a creepy, refined retelling of Pinocchio. That is not right. Anybody know how to spell Pinocchio? Is that right? No.
Right click to get it to tell you one, yeah, one N, two C's, one H, I think.
Okay. Thank y'all. You could just be as simple as this. I'm telling you, I want a creepy, horrifying retelling of Pinocchio. That's it. I'm not trying to spend all of my time planning out a novel. Again, this is just for learning the AI. Now, if I have more details, I can put it in there. So include jump scares and a tragic ending. Or Pinocchio. Or for Geppetto. Or however you want. So you can get very specific if you want. But I can just tell it, write a creepy, horrifying retelling of Pinocchio and then go through these boxes. Horror. Style. I'm going to go ahead and do first person. The Jen got me hooked on that.
Do we always hyphenate first person? Or is
I
it by
would.
model?
I
I
would.
think always. Yeah.
That's how I type it out anyways,
Yeah.
both of those.
Just as a tip, some of
Yeah.
the models, if you don't hyphenate it, it just won't write in first person. It's
Yeah.
really weird.
Especially unfiltered. So hyphenated here, I would also actually, for unfiltered especially, also put it in a beat header. And again, that stuff we'll cover tomorrow, but I just want to give y'all an example of just, this is it. 7 words in my brain dump. I'm going to generate the synopsis. Okay. So it gave me a little story here that I can start editing. So when we say sort of story from scratch again, we're not telling you go out and plan this big hefty novel. Do something simple, just so you can play around in the different boxes and see what they do. It gave us a name that I will not know what that story is about. So you can rename your project right here. I have another little RPG, so I got separated. Project name right here. Now when I go out, that's where it'll be. All right. So before I stop the recording, were there any questions? And when we stop the recording, that doesn't mean y'all have to bail. Some of y'all want to hang around a few minutes. We usually talk for a bit or answer some side questions. But I do need to wrap up the recording. Going once? Going twice? All right, so this was the 101. Tomorrow in the 201, we will take this story that we've started here and actually start generating inside the story Bible boxes. And again, either in the 201 or 301, we will play around with doing things in a script format since that's been coming up a lot in the Discord. All right, I am going to get this recording shut down. So thank y'all very much for hanging out with me today. Bye, everyone.